going to get into the core of our session around opportunities for LBEs with primes. We're going to go through a series of presentations from several construction and professional services firms. And at the end of this series, we'll have time for Q&A with the group of speakers. So please do send your questions along as you're listening in. And we're going to go ahead and start with our first speaker, Mick Penn. Mick is the Community Relations Liaison for Swinnerton Builders. Welcome, Mick.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Supervisor Marr, for being here, and everyone else. I really want to tip my hat to all the entrepreneurs out there, the lifeblood of San Francisco and commerce. So here with Swinnerton, talk about some of the opportunities that we have in San Francisco, some upcoming opportunities, and really want to kind of share a strategy at the end, of how to begin to place yourself within Swinnerton for opportunities. So next slide, please. Okay, so quick agenda, Swinnerton highlights. I'll probably breeze through there. Hopefully most of you know us, and if you don't, I'll cover that. Pre-qualification, which is important. Also, kind of think about that as doing business with Swinnerton, getting onboarded. Outreach goals, want to talk a little bit about our internal program. Project requirements, talk about some of the insurance and billing on our projects, and then hop into the opportunities. So next slide. Next. So that's the trajectory of Swinnerton. 1888, we were formed, contractor license 92. You see our history there of growth of different names. Lindgren is still part of the company. We have a supply company that's named Lindgren. A lot of you may know us as Swinnerton and Wahlberg. Run into folks there, and you can see how we developed still Swinnerton Builders, although Swinnerton is our kind of overarching brand. Next slide. Different target markets, aviation, parking structures. We'll talk a little bit about that. Multifamily. I think the one that's kind of missing on here that really has been nice over the last 3 years has been our affordable housing work, and I have some opportunities to talk about there. Next slide. All right, pre-qualification. So really think about this as doing business with Swinnerton. Any subcontractor looking to get work with Swinnerton, the pre-qualification is a must. So at the end of this, you will get my contact information, but it's real simple. It's M as in Mary, P as in Peter, E as in Earl, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy at swinnerton.com. Think about Penn as my cousin Sean Penn, and that first initial. So pre-qualification is important. I can help and support you there. Next slide. When you're doing a pre-qualification, these are the documents that you'll need. And I know different businesses are in different places, right? So you don't necessarily, these are not required documents. These are the documents that you would need, but I could tell you financials are going to be required. Proof of insurance are going to be required. And your W-9 are going to be required. And then the rest of the documents in this set, so obviously your contracting license, got to have that contracting license required. But as far as the letter of bondability, your safety and OSHA forms, those really depend on where your business is. And I'd be happy to discuss that. And then we definitely want to know what certifications your company has. Next slide. MSA, I think a lot of our friendly competitors do this. It's probably become the standard practices, negotiating the legalese of a contract, right? And the different exhibits, the insurance, and understanding the kind of overall arching. If you were to do business with Swinnerton anywhere in the country, these are the things that legally need to be in the contract. That's our MSA, and those are good for 5 years. Next slide. And then just after you sign the MSA and you win work with Swinnerton, what we'll then issue is a work order, and that work order will be specific to will be specific to that particular project, right? So any kind of local hiring requirements or any type of different types of insurance, whether it's, a contractor insurance policy, so a policy that we're producing, or if it's an owner's policy, all that'll be in that work order. This is our website. It allows you to get to a lot of important documents if you're looking to do business with us. Next slide. You click on, and you'll scroll to the bottom of our first page, click on subcontractors. Next slide. And then you'll have these array of documents. So the Swinnerton pre-qual takes you to our pre-qual portal, sample contract agreements, and then current bids. We do have opportunities that public bid opportunities. Some of them, are what we would call a hard bid, right? You're going to provide a number, and that we go with the low number, which is a rare thing for us. Even with our hard bids, we're always looking for the best value, right? So in a situation, I don't want to get too complicated, but if your company is close and say you have the LBE certification, we're looking for the best value, and that LBE certification means, something to us in that project. Next slide. Vendor diversity program. Next slide. So we have our own internal, we call it a vendor diversity program, but really it's these array of different certifications. LBE counts within our program: minority business, women business, DBE, the disadvantaged business enterprise, disabled veteran enterprise, small business, and then other business enterprise. So we have a fairly broad group of programs. And next slide. On company-wide, we are looking for a 20% spend, right? So in the Bay Area, we did, Northern California, we did close to $1 billion. So the expectation, of the company is to push to get 200 million of that, spent with that array of diverse and small and veteran business firms. We are in the 27th year of this vendor diversity program, which started in 1993 at the Port of Oakland. Next slide. Really, our approach to inclusion, education. We'll be rolling out in 2020 a technical assistance program really focused on preparing companies to do work with us, to win work and execute work. It's called Prep for Success. So have information on that coming out. Community, really, investing, getting involved, providing resources, commitment, and opportunity. All of that works as far as our approach to inclusive business participation. Next slide. Project requirements. Next slide, just real quick, and then I can get to these opportunities. We do use texture for our billing. You see there is some cost. So if you do, our awarded work, when you win work with Swinnerton, just know that we use texture. One of the nice things about texture is, we know cash is king, and we want to get you paid, and you're able to kind of track the where your invoice and your billing are within the cycle. Next slide. Safety, we have a robust safety program. We're here to help you. If you're looking to bid work with us and there's the need for safety documents, we can put you in touch with any of our safety professionals. We have we have a regional that covers Northern California. We have a division that covers the Bay Area. So we're really, really here to help you, with the safety requirements on our projects. Next slide. And there was another piece about insurance, and I talked about earlier. And our projects, it's either going to be the contractor controlled insurance program, so the insurance program with Swinnerton, or it'll be the owner controlled insurance program, and those specifics will always be in the work orders. So now the good part, the opportunities. So we do have some exciting opportunities. Next slide. I think this is, really, really exciting opportunity. We do have an LBE specific outreach event for this Friday. This is the Sunnydale Hub Community Center, and then the building on the right side is going to be the Hertz Recreation Center. That part is not our project. Our project is the one on the left. Probably about $26 million. We are bidding the whole, all the scopes. The only thing that has been procured so far is the fire protection scope, because that one was design build. So a really exciting project. We really feel that it lends itself to a lot of opportunities for LBEs to be primes to Swinnerton. So have that direct contract with Swinnerton, and also provides a lot of partnering opportunities. That bid date had slipped a little bit from when we put this together. So the bid date is in December. And as I said, we have an LBE focused outreach event to talk about this project more. It's part of the larger Hope SF Sunnydale redevelopment that's taking place now. And we're really excited about this project. It'll be one of our first mass timber projects in San Francisco. So really, really excited. So reach out about that one. Next slide. Our 921 Howard project. So we had a pre-bid meeting around that today. We're in bid group 5, which includes polished concrete, closet wiring shelves, and then the miscellaneous specialties. So the mailbox, the bath accessories. So a lot of carpenter's work. So if you got a B license and you're have done this work or interested in doing this work, reach out to me. The bid date extended there. Right now, our bid date is October the 20th. But this is really one of our best value projects. We're not want to make sure that we're providing the best value for the client. This client is Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Corporation. And then on the Sunnydale Hub, it is Mercy Housing and Related, just so you understand who our clients are. Next slide. Dublin Parking Garage. So another interesting opportunity. So Alameda County, they have a pretty robust program. We're looking for minority business participation, women business participation, small business participation, and then an array of Alameda County opportunity or certifications. This one is once again best value. We just announced a bid extension on this particular project. I know this is a San Francisco kind of focused small business summit, but if you're thinking about diversifying your portfolio of business, and if you think about the guts of a parking structure, the concrete is the big part. So really, I think reasonable packages that hopefully fit into a small business's kind of wheelhouse. So this one is available through our public bid opportunities. A really exciting project. It's not a Swinnerton project, but we are taking bids as part of it, and we're confident that we're going to do well on this. So next slide. Confidential technology client headquartered in Cupertino. I bring this opportunity because this technology client that is headquartered in Cupertino has really developed a robust minority business, women business, veteran business, LGBT business, differently abled business enterprise program. They have a 20% goal similar to our Swinnerton program across the board, but within that 20%, they want 10% to go to Black and Latinx or BIPOC businesses. This client we meet on a regular basis. Some of you that may be on this call have met with their diversity and procurement folks. So really exciting things going on in the corporate world with regards to diversity, equity, and contracting equity. So this is ongoing opportunities. We set up, meetings with their diverse procurement folks, their diversity, supplier diversity folks. So really exciting, when you're thinking about your business, Cupertino and that surrounding area, there could be opportunities just to kind of diversify your portfolio. Next slide. And so this project here, and I talked about in the beginning, wanting to kind of a way to position yourself with Swenerton and how we do work. So things can change, but if this project keeps its current schedule, it'll break ground in the fall of 23. And I know a lot of folks are like, man, wow, that's a long time. I'm worried about, what's going on this month and next month. But as you develop the relationship, this is going to be 2 towers, one a 9-story tower, one a 17-story tower now. But we have ongoing budgeting exercises that we do with the client. And one of my big pushes is to figure out a way to get the LBEs participating in this budgeting, even if it's you're giving us, unit costs, or, kind of just high level ROMs on, I'm sorry, and Nicole said no acronyms, rough order magnitude. So, but we want to get you involved, right? We want to get you involved in these projects early. And so this project is a ways out. Would love to, and everything is on the table from painting to electrical to plumbing. I think a lot of times when projects go out to bid, the LBE is hearing about it when it goes out to bid. What we want to do is to, extend that timeline and have this be a part of your targeted, portfolio of work. And we really want to roll out a way to bridge the gap between getting you the proper information, getting us the proper information, and creating an opportunity for you. Next slide. So that's it for me. Thank you. Like I said, my cousin Sean Penn, last name, and put in M and at Swenerton, and feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you, Nicole. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Mick. We really appreciate you outlining all these opportunities. And if you have information about that outreach event coming up for LBEs this Friday, you can feel free to share it with our team, and we can actually post that in the YouTube comments for our viewers. So now we're going to roll right into our next presenter. We have James Dees, who is the compliance specialist joining us from Nibby Brothers General Contractors. So welcome, James.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you. Okay, so I'm James Dees, the compliance specialist with Nibby. Also with me today, I have Noe Valenzuela. He's the head of our pre-con department. Before we get started, we want to thank everyone for this opportunity to speak at this event and to all the small businesses of San Francisco. With that, we can go ahead and get started. So our agenda for today, we're going to start with an introduction and overview of Nibby Brothers General Contractors, and then we'll go into the pre-qualification process, and then some upcoming bids and projects that we have going on. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, Nibby has been constructing technically complex, iconic structures in the San Francisco Bay Area since 1950. We currently have 300 plus full-time employees. In 2019, our revenue was $350 million, and last year we did $414.5 million, with project sizes up to $150 million. We are also an ENR Top 400 contractor. Next slide. Our mission is to serve our clients and community by building safely with integrity, innovation, and quality. To fulfill this mission, we actively encourage the following core values: safety, honesty and integrity, client focus, social responsibility, financial stability, opportunity, and a family culture. A family culture that also extends to our subcontractors and wanting to help them succeed. Next slide, please. NIBE strives to maximize opportunities for local, small, minority-owned, and women-owned business participation on all of our projects. We work regularly with a number of small, local, minority-owned, and women-owned businesses and are always looking for new contractors to partner with. Some of the trades that we work with include trucking, security, final clean, drywall, electrical, fire protection, and more. Next slide. So NIBE's core markets are commercial, civic, community-based and education, multifamilies and student housing, seismic and historic, hospitality, structural concrete, and waterfront. And although we are expanding to the East Bay and the South Bay, NIBE's bread and butter is always going to be San Francisco. We have a number of public works projects with local business and local hire goals, which means plenty of opportunity for local businesses. Next slide. So next we'll go through NIBE's pre-qualification process. Next slide. So the first step to be pre-qualified with NIBE is any subcontractor conducting labor over $350,000 on a project for NIBE Brothers or interested in working for NIBE Brothers must be pre-qualified in order to be awarded a contract. The pre-qual application is submitted online via TradeTap by Building Connected. And TradeTap is just a platform that we use to collect data, automate risk assessment, and receive mitigation recommendations. We'll also be asking for supporting documentation to be submitted via electronic upload. Again, this will be uploaded to TradeTap, and I'll get into what exactly we're asking for on the next slide. All subcontractors must renew their safety and financials annually to keep pre-qualification status active. Next slide. So the pre-qualification process. So these are the documents that we will need submitted to TradeTap. First will be your financials. We're going to ask for, the income statement, your balance sheet, and a line of credit letter. It's not required, but we do prefer audited financials. Next, we have the California contractor's license. When you upload your license, it must be current and it must be active for the type of work you will be performing. Then we'll need your insurance, and your insurance is, general liability and workers' compensation. We'll need your Form W-9 for your tax ID. Then we'll need bonding. We'll need a letter of bondability. For safety, we'll need your OSHA forms and EMR, preferably your last 5 years, or if you're a new company, then as many years as you can provide. And last, we'll need your certification. So for example, your LBE status with the city. If this is your first time getting pre-qualified with NIBE, you can reach out to Jacqueline Leva. She works with our pre-con department. She's the pre-con and estimating coordinator and can be contacted via email at jacquelinel@nibe.com. Next slide. And last, we'll go through our upcoming bids and projects. Slide. So one of our first projects coming up is Treasure Island C3.1. This project has an estimated start date of March 2022, and the project bidding begins next month. Next slide. Next, we have Sunnydale blocks 3A and 3B. These are two separate projects, but they'll be starting around the same time. So the project start date will be June 2022, and the project bid date will be February 2022. These are 80 units for block 3A, and then for for 3B, it'll be 90 units. Next slide. Next, we have the Hunters View Block 14. This project will also begin on June 2022 with a project bid date of February 2022, and this is a 6-story, 42-unit project. Next slide. Then we have another Hunters View project, Block 17. This project starts June 2022, and the project bids in the first quarter of next year. And this is has 76 units, and it's a type 3 over a type 1. Next slide. And then we also have a project, Hunters Point Shipyard, Block 56, which starts July 2022 and bids in the second quarter of 2022. And this is 73 units of affordable housing. Next slide. Also, Hunters Point Shipyard, this is Block 52 and 54, 2 separate projects that will start on October 2022 and has a bid date of May of next year. For Block 52, this is going to be 67 units, and Block 54 will be 45 units. Next slide. Then we have 4200 Geary, and this project will start August of next year, and the project bid date will be May 2022. This is a senior family housing, and it's going to have 98 units, and this includes work of demo and then reconstruction. Next slide. So last we have Mission Bay Block 9A. This project starts May 2022 with bids next month. This will be 148 units, and it will be affordable housing. Next slide. So as you can see, we have a lot of projects in the pipeline, which means we'll be looking for a lot of local business participation. I have added my email at the bottom of the slide, so feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about anything that I went over today. I just want to say thank you for your time, and I will give this back to Nicole.
Thank you, James, and thanks also to Noe for being here with us today. It's really great to see both Nibby and then Swinnerton before that you guys are working on building up our affordable housing stock here in San Francisco. We appreciate that. Now I'm going to turn it over to our last speaker to speak on the professional services perspective. So this is Les Chow. He's currently the business sector lead for West Yost and brings with him many years of experience from various firms to reflect on his remarks for today. So take it away, Les.
Thank you. I turned on my camera, so I think you guys can see me. Anyway, my name is Les Chow. I have been working with the City of San Francisco in consulting, that's professional services. So I have been a contract manager and a project manager and a business development manager for Kleinfelder, for Wood and Kennedy James, and so on. My talk is basically to introduce myself, and I'm very much a mentor to firms, especially LBE firms, in the front end of things, meaning how to look at RFPs and decide how to pursue opportunities. Next slide. So what I normally do, and I welcome all of you to contact me in my email or my phone number, which I'll provide to the team, that to any of these 8 services that I've been providing for my employer and for my business partners. So the first one is certified LBE. I often look at what are the expectations of the city for business partners, for LBEs. There are expectations that LBEs, especially the new ones, should be aware of. Doing business with the city is somewhat complicated, but it's also very rewarding. And I would be happy to talk to you all about it. And also a primer. You can go into the city website, SF Bid and so on, to look at contract opportunities that are published by the city in different divisions. It could be the water division, which is SFPUC, and then the ports, and then also public works and so on. And I can help you with that too. And then the importance of relationships with business partners. Teaming is very important for small businesses, as well as for mid-sized businesses. It's also the relationship with city staff. You want to be knowledgeable, you want to be well informed, and that often has to do with talking to business partners, which are prime contractors, other consulting firms in professional businesses, and also talking to city staff. City staffs are extremely friendly, and they are often obligated to tell you opportunities that are coming up and what are involved, and often what are the teams that are currently involved in certain opportunities. So the fourth one is understanding the procurement processes in various city divisions. As I mentioned, the different city divisions have different RFP processes and procurement processes. And common to both, all of them, as you know, is the percent of LBE involvement for contracts that are over a certain dollar amount. This is very important for consulting services because now a lot of the small businesses in the city are involved in consulting. What are consulting? Consulting can be involved in water. Nowadays, we don't have enough of it, so it's always about drought preparedness, water storage, recycled water, and water quality. It's also about infrastructure, underground utilities, and also above ground utilities, architecture, and also structure, and the structural engineering is often a hot topic for now the city's build out. Nowadays, we also have to deal with climate changes. And then the city is also have quite a few opportunities on the new category of green infrastructure. So that's what consulting business is like within different city divisions. So item number 5, strategy, branding, and positioning. It's related to item number 3. It's about your strategy, your business plan, which is it should have a 5-year strategic plan. It should have a brand, and you should position for the opportunities that are that you have resources for and show well and can differentiate yourself. The item number 6, the importance of developing a winning strategy for each business's pursuit. It's very important to read each RFP very carefully. You need to have a winning strategy or winning proposition. You need to differentiate yourself from other either sub-consultants, or if you're prime, you need to have a winning strategy to show the selection panel of certain opportunities that you are excellent, you are different, and you have original ideas. So winning strategy is extremely important, and I have been working with small businesses to develop those winning strategies. Number 7, carefully analyze RFPs and RFQs. And so RFQs often do not require cost budgeting. And then RFPs requires fee schedules. So you need to be aware that the process of making smart decisions, whether you're going to go after a bid or not go after a bid. If you make a go, no go decision based on your qualification, your profit margin for certain opportunities, that should tell you whether certain opportunities, whether it's an RFQ or RFP, is worth your time and expenses, business development expenses, to go after certain RFPs. So lastly, to develop a tailored qualification to respond to RFQs and teaming requests. I've been in the prime consultant side of things, and I've managed quite a few large contracts proposing to the city. And it's the very important thing, as the other two speakers have mentioned to you, the pre-qualification is very important. You need to learn about what is the minimum qualification for a certain RFP or RFQ, then tailor your qualifications to respond to the RFQ. Even if you're a prime, or even if you're a subcontractor proposing as just a sub, your qualifications needs to address what the RFP or RFQ is looking for. Look for the keywords, making sure the keywords are in your qualifications, in your resumes, and in your narratives on proposing for work. So those are the 8 things that I normally help mentor small businesses. And each of these are quite important because I found out that small businesses usually don't have that kind of resources to do everything that is necessary to propose and win contracts with the city. And you need mentors to help you. And I would be glad to talk to you about mentor protege activities in the city. And I'm very appreciative of the city of promoting mentor protege activities, because small businesses are the backbone of infrastructure and public works in the city. With that, I will be happy to answer questions during Q&A session. Thanks for having me. I'll kick it back to Nicole.
Thank you so much, Les. And Angela, if we can move forward to that Q&A slide, we can share our email address with folks. So we really appreciate all of our speakers giving their presentations today. For folks in the audience, just a reminder, you can send in any questions that you're wondering about to cityadmin.events@sfgov.org. In the meantime, we have several questions that have already come in, so I'm going to direct these to the relevant speakers. So the first question is for Swinnerton. For Mick with Swinnerton. So this is regarding your mention of a master subcontract agreement in your slides. So this person asks, if I set up a master subcontract agreement with you, does it lock in my pricing for a 5-year period?
No. So yeah, the master service agreement is really about, it's not the business terms, but the legal terms about the insurance and whatnot. So to answer your question, no.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Mick. And then if there's any other clarifications on that, that listener can just send in additional questions to the inbox. So next question is for James at NIBI. For NIBI, you mentioned that you have projects in the Bayview Hunters Point area. Will you be giving any type of local preference for subs from the Bayview Hunters Point for those upcoming projects that you listed? Oh, James, you might be on mute there too.
Hi.
Oh, we
Hello,
can
can you hear me?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. We also have Kira Fuse here with the head of our of our compliance department. She'll be able to answer that question.
Hi, so we are looking for businesses in that area. We're not giving bid discounts necessarily to those businesses, but there are workforce goals as well. So if you have a really strong workforce population from the Bayview Hunters Point area, that definitely weighs in your favor, and that'll help make your bid stronger because you'll be able to provide solid workforce numbers, and the city does have workforce goals for those Bayview Hunters Point area projects.
Great, that's super helpful, Kira. Thank you so much, and thanks, James. So let's see. The third question I have here in the queue is for Les. So this is great, one for each speaker. Les, we really appreciate your mentorship perspective. Can you share from your own experience what was your biggest challenge as you were building up your portfolio with the city?
As a prime contractor, we spent a lot of money proposing for very large contracts, 1 million and up. And as you all know, the city requires at least 18% to 20% LBE participation in the professional services contracts. So my biggest challenge is to match the qualifications of small businesses so that they will actually get work. It's not just about proposing and winning with small businesses. My mission is to win contracts and also win work for LBEs and small businesses who are my business partners. They are my subcontractors, and I'm very protective of them. So I think one of the challenge is that finding the right type of work for small businesses so that they can eventually graduate to being prime contractors. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Les. We have a question coming in through our inbox for Nibby. A two-part question, and then one of them, let us know if it's not something that you would want to answer on air. But the first question is specific to the Treasure Island project. For this project, are you looking for LBE certified firms to do work as subcontractors? Do they have to be LBE certified?
Yes, we are looking for LBE certified subcontractors.
Okay, perfect. And then the second part of this question is, we're wondering if you can share your price point for what you're paying for trucking services on your projects, and okay to say if you are not able to share.
We are unable to share that information, but feel free to reach out to us and we can figure it out.
Sounds good. That's, yeah, the presentations will be shared with all of our registered attendees. And so James kindly included his email address in there. So I would suggest that this listener reach out to James directly. So let's see, there's a last question here, which is perfect. We have just a few minutes left on the session. This one is for all of our speakers, and the question is, for all the speakers, there are a lot of groups and networking events out there, but so little time as a small business owner to build those types of relationships that can get you work. And so can you share an event or a trade association that you would recommend that's really worth the investment of time for the payoff?
Nicole, I think I'll take that.
Okay.
I can't seem to get my video on, but that's fine. That's a tough question. I think it really depends on. I think there's the Latin and Black SF Contractors Association. They're developing. I think they're strong. They got there's obviously the San Francisco African American Chamber, Hispanic Chamber. They do their thing. There's NAMAC, which I'm a part of, National Association Minority Contractors, NorCal chapter. I think it really depends on where you are looking. I think if you're looking for work in San Francisco, then I think they're all good organizations. I think you would have to do your research, but those are some. But if you're looking for work outside of San Francisco, I think there's some regional organizations like the Western Regional Minority Supplier Development Council. If you're looking at work with corporate folks, and then if you're looking, say, down in the peninsula, the Minority Business Consortium seems to be a really strong organization. So a lot of organizations, I would say, do your research. And don't be afraid to ask the leadership, what you need from them to become a member.
Thank you, Mick. And then James, Les, did you have anything to add on that question?
This Les, I do. So for the City of San Francisco, I sit on the board of the Asian American Architects and Engineers. And I encourage not just Asian Americans, but all minorities, women-owned, LBEs, SBEs, and so on, and DBEs, to contact the AAAE, Asian American Architects and Engineers, especially for consulting services, professional services. And they are a bunch of architects, a bunch of water infrastructure folks and structural engineers and so on. And they have been very helpful to quite a few LBE firms to not only gain certification, but also help them look for opportunities and also help with proposal processes. And the other one, the big organization is also Asian Inc. They are very involved in city ordinances, 14B and 12B and so on. They are also very active in helping small businesses to gain contracts with the city, mainly in consulting services. Thanks.
All right, and gentlemen, if I can just keep you for one more moment, there's a quick question that came in before we sign off for today, and that is there a list for subcontractors to sign up to be notified of opportunities coming up?
I would say,
yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, James.
I was going to say, I would say, look at the CMD website. I know that we post all of our projects there, and it's a good place to see, other opportunities to land jobs.
Great. And Les, did you have?
For consulting services, many of you may know or already signed up for SF Bid. You should sign up for it, and they will send email notices for upcoming RFPs, even though they're even for the very advanced RFPs that are maybe 1 year out and so on. And actually, those are the good ones because you want to get connected and be and position yourself way ahead of the RFP that's about to come out. So that's SF Bid. There are other listings that may cost money, but SF Bid is actually totally free.
Great. Great. Well, thank you so much to all of our speakers, to Mick, James, and Les for joining us and for sharing your expertise and all these opportunities with our audience today.